Is this what you want? This fucking foliage? Is this what you want? Mr. Dips? Is this what you want? Me standing in front of EC3 buying designer coats? Is this what you want? Me sitting in some hipster hotel in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, fluffing pillows? Is this what you want? I don't believe this. This graffiti art, the hotels, avocado toast. All I want is a fucking Guinness. An ice cold Guinness. What the hell does that mean? Oh, this is what you wanted. This is your Monday Night Raw review right here on Off the Script. You know, most of the time when WWE advertises something, they usually kind of deliver. They usually never fully deliver. Sometimes they don't deliver at all, and they intentionally clickbait you. Monday Night Raw tonight was being advertised to have a sermon by the Monday Night Messiah. Now, I am not a church-going individual. I do not attend church. I am not overly religious in any way. I do believe in a higher power, but I do not take myself to church every Sunday or ever, really. But I do believe in a higher power. I went to Catholic school. I went through 6th grade all the way up until I graduated high school. So 6 grades of Catholic school, 6 grades of learning religion and going to church and learning about the inner workings of the church and everything that comes along with that particular subject. Normally when I attended Mass, it was always the same thing. People sit there in a zombified state. People wait to receive the host, right? Then they wait to drink the blood of Christ. And there's always some good spoken word or some knowledge laid upon you by the priest. And I always felt the same way coming out of church. Never any different. The only thing I was really thinking about is, man, I could have used this hour to do literally anything else, but I sat here and I learned nothing. I learned nothing. I ended up walking out disappointed that I could have been anywhere, but I decided to be there. Normally when WWE wants to advertise something, like I said, they clickbait or they just don't deliver at all. Man, Rollins' sermon is the same thing as if you were attending Mass on Sunday morning. We got the same main events on the same show in what was a different week. We had an 8-man tag team match last week, and this week we are blessed with a 6-man tag. The only difference is Rollins and Samoa Joe are not attending this service here this evening. I don't believe this show, man. I really don't believe this show. This show was terrible tonight. This show was really, really terrible tonight, man. I don't know what WWE is doing going on into the Elimination Chamber. I have they have nothing going on to the Elimination Chamber because they're building towards Super Showdown. They're building and putting all of their resources into Super Showdown at the end of the month. And then they'll worry about the Elimination Chamber, which is looking very predictable. And I don't mean that in a good way whatsoever, because there is good predictable, and then there is just blatantly awful predictable. This Elimination Chamber show is looking blatantly awful in the beginning of March on this road to WrestleMania that somehow doesn't feel like a WrestleMania. Not after this show tonight. We got the sermon by the Monday Night Failure known as Seth Rollins. You ain't no Messiah, bro. I am the Messiah. Follow me, my sons. I shall guide you through this horrendous garbage on Monday night. Becky Lynch bites back. What is she biting into? What is she biting back into? Becky Lynch wants to act as if she's going to the strip club tonight instead of actually taking action against Shayna Baszler. Baszler, we'll talk about it tonight, appeared backstage on the Titantron, and all the while, Becky Lynch is not hunting for Shayna Baszler. She didn't want to be a vampire hunter this week. She wanted to be pretending she was sitting front row at fucking Bare Exposure, throwing dollar bills on stage while the women take their clothes off. Unreal. What is she biting into? Did Titus have some blueberry fucking scones this morning? Unbelievable, man. Ricochet, another comedy act. He should join Dolph Ziggler on stage. Ricochet says he earned a title shot at Brock Lesnar. Oh my God, man, Ricochet. Oh, man, there's some things you just can't teach an individual, man. Being a comedian is one of them. You either have it or you don't. Ricochet clearly has that comedic timing down perfectly on Monday Night Raw. He earned his title shot. Oh, man. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. That's a good one. Holy shit. And we're going to go over Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre and Paul Heyman got into a back and forth on Monday Night Raw tonight. Drew McIntyre is in the ring tonight with MVP. Why? MVP has never, ever been important. So why is this guy still on my TV? The Royal Rumble ended 3 weeks ago, and this guy is still in the ring trying to relive his very unimportant glory days. And Drew McIntyre, I'd love to ask you guys a simple question. How is this making you excited about Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar going into WrestleMania by him claymoring someone like MVP? At this rate, Drew McIntyre would be best spent at home. Monday Night Raw was a complete failure tonight. This show sucked. WWE has brought Monday Night Raw back to a point where it was watchable. Tonight was not one of those nights. Oh, and I forgot about the handsome tag team match that was Rusev and Humberto Carrillo versus Angel Garza and Bobby Trashley. Now, I don't know why you're advertising this as a handsome tag team match. The only handsome one in this match is Angel Garza. You mean to tell me the other three guys are handsome? That's as funny as Ricochet saying he's earned a title shot. Oh, man. It never gets old, bro. It never gets old. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me here on Off the Script. How many of you guys clicked off the video? This guy's obnoxious. It's 10:45. I have opted not to watch the main event tonight. So if I don't go over the main event and we end with a very piss-poor promo by Liv Morgan, you know why. I am not subjecting myself to reruns. Seriously, this is not like an episode of Seinfeld where I could watch an episode of Seinfeld over and over and over again and recite lines from Seinfeld over and over again, or better yet, Jaws. Every time Jaws comes on, you guys have a movie that you always see on TV, and it's one of your favorite movies of all time, and even though it's littered with commercials, you always have to just sit there and watch it. Right? Jaws is that movie to me. Jaws, sometimes it's The Mummy, not the Tom Cruise Mummy, because that shit sucked. The Brendan Fraser Mummy, the first one. The second one was okay, but that first one was epic, right? Jurassic Park, Terminator 2, movies Happy Gilmore, movies like that, right? Every time they're on, you always end up watching them because they're great. They're fantastic. I will do no such thing as this with Monday Night Raw tonight. I'm sorry. I am not subjecting myself to fucking reruns minus Rollins and Joe in the main event when we just seen this shit last week. So we're going to be ranting, we're going to be complaining, we're going to be negative tonight on the review. Being that I'm always negative and I have a toxic community, some idiot actually told me that Monday Night Raw was the best wrestling show on the planet. He must be taking comedic lessons from Ricochet. Oh, man. This is off the script. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on the podcast. It is February 17th, 2020. Everett, Washington. Clearly, these people hate pro wrestling because they sucked tonight. Portland, last night for TakeOver. Completely different audience. I don't know what happened. Clearly, they love their wrestling in Portland, and in Everett, they don't. But I can't blame you. This show sucked. They didn't make this show any better. If you guys were just a little bit better and maybe cared a little bit more, maybe I wouldn't be shitting on this show tonight. Everett, Washington, Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys go and do that. Very, very important. We are finally nearing 30,000 followers on Twitter, so that's awesome. If you guys want to hit up the Instagram as well, I would love to get to that 10,000 follower plateau on Instagram, so please go and do that. If you guys missed my Off the Script episode 313 this weekend, we covered the John Cena rumors with Goldberg. We covered the John Cena rumors with Elias, which is just as funny as Ricochet saying he earned a title shot against Brock Lesnar. And the rumors of AJ Styles and The Undertaker, a name that Styles, who returned to the show tonight, mentioned on the show. But he mentioned The Undertaker lumped in with all other legends that he mentioned tonight, and he just kind of planted a seed. One little tiny seed he planted about that Undertaker match at WrestleMania. If you guys want my thoughts on that and how I would book it and my opinion on all of these rumors heading into WrestleMania, links are down below. Go and check that out. If you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, you guys can certainly do that as well. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And most importantly, if you guys are not subscribed, I would greatly appreciate if you do hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications, man. I would really, really appreciate that tonight. Hour one. I didn't talk about it in the open because this was probably the best part of the show, and he has been the best part of the show for a few weeks now. Randy Orton. Randy Orton took out Edge. Randy Orton has taken out Matt Hardy. And now Matt Hardy is hopefully deleted from WWE. As if he wasn't deleted last week, hopefully he's deleted this week. And I'll go over why he was even on the show tonight to begin with. Clickbait, as always. WWE does one thing good. It's not putting on a good show. It's clickbaiting the fuck out of their audience. They did it on Friday with Goldberg, and now they're doing it here with Matt Hardy and Randy Orton. Randy Orton walks to the ring. And he's in the ring. He said tonight he's supposed to face Hardy in a no-holds-barred match, but Matt Hardy was not medically cleared. He said Matt's in the back trying to get cleared, but it won't happen. He said the Hardys are known from jumping from the highest of highs and crashing to the lowest of lows. You could take that and interpret that any way you want, whether that is in the meaning of pro wrestling where they jump off a ladder and they come crashing through a table, or in Jeff Hardy's instance, he gets drunk and then has an argument with his wife and then gets arrested because he has a revoked license. Any which way you want to fill it in, you guys can have fun with that. So Hardy's music hits and he walks out wearing a leather jacket and a neck brace. He told Orton that instead of talking about him, he should finally confess why he tried to take away Edge's second chance. Yes, he said this while wearing a neck brace. And I'm like, we're not getting the match. WWE, I knew right from the get-go, clickbaited us right here and there. What the hell is wrong with you, Randy Orton? He said. So Matt went on and said he wanted to take his passion away from him too, but you can't, Randy. You can't. No one can. I came here tonight to fight you. I came here tonight to watch a good wrestling show, Matt, but clearly I was disappointed too. So we can be in the same boat together. I'll buy you a cold beverage. I came here tonight to fight you. Said the WWE doctors won't clear him to compete in a match tonight, but he is there, and just like Edge, he has grit. So does Titus. Titus got grits in the morning in catering, I'm sure. He said people like him and Edge will always get back up. He said he doesn't know what the future holds for him. Oh. Man, I've been getting this recurring cough returning. I don't know what it is, bro. I really don't. Maybe I should clear it up on Wednesday nights. Said he doesn't know what the future holds for him, but it damn sure won't be determined on Orton's terms. Of course not. It's going to be determined on Matt Hardy's terms when he shows up and he deletes all of All Elite Wrestling as the Exalted One. Follow me, my sons. Me and Matt Hardy are going to have a similar take on things. I'm the Messiah of the IWC, and he is the Exalted One. There you go. Should be good. Orton says, you should have said goodbye last week, while you still had the opportunity to walk out on your own 2 feet. Matt entered the ring, and he was clutching his neck because he had gotten a concerto to his neck last week. Orton asked him what he could do if he decided to RKO him right there, where he stands. He said Matt has balls, but no one will ever understand why he did what he did. He said he respects him from the bottom of his heart for all that he has done. He said he respects Edge, but he also loves Edge like a brother. He said he is truly sorry. He dropped the microphone and walked out of the ring. Everybody was wondering what was going on. So Orton walked up the stage, and he still had his vest on. He takes his vest off. He crumbles his vest into a ball, a leather ball. And Matt Hardy, in the distance, you see him leaving the ring, and then you see him go get a steel chair and then re-enter the ring. So you know shit is about to pick up here with Randy Orton and Matt Hardy. So Matt grabbed the chair, and he stood in the ring with the chair. Orton slowly made his way back to the ring. Hardy dared Orton to finish me. So that line right there with Hardy yelling, finish me, that is an innuendo to he is finished with WWE. Because why would he say to Orton, finish me? That's a very bold and powerful statement for someone to say. If he was staying with the WWE, I wouldn't think Matt Hardy would be saying, finish me. Like it was a fucking Mortal Kombat fatality. Finish him, you know? So Hardy swung the chair. Orton ducked. He moved out of the way, snapped Hardy's neck over the top rope. Orton entered and waited for Hardy to get back to his feet. RKO. Fans are chanting one more time because people in Everett, Washington are sick motherfuckers. Don't know why we were chanting one more time at poor Matt Hardy. Then he picked up a chair. Orton picked up the chair and slammed Hardy across the back with the chair 3 times. Then Hardy rolled over onto his back. He jabbed Hardy in the ribs, in the gut with the chair several times. And then a back to the back with the steel chair. So he was mauling him with this steel chair. So then Orton slid the chair under Hardy's head and then removed his neck brace. So this is where things are getting serious. So we got referees running into the ring. Orton then wound up and swung a chair onto Hardy's head. He paused. He looked concerned. He looked conflicted and confused. He didn't know what he wanted to do. So he looked around at the fans. He threw the chair down to the floor. Fans were booing. Orton then left the ring and he jogged around the ring, dragged Hardy by his arm out of the ring, dropped him on the floor, and then rubbed his face on the floor. Hardy then was placed on the ringside steps. Randy Orton was rearranging some furniture on the outside. He was whispering some words of encouragement to Matt Hardy at this point. He was whispering in his ear, good luck. Good luck in AEW. I don't know what he was telling him, but he was talking to him all the while this was going on. Security officers are there. Matt Hardy has no friends. Nobody in the back that wants to come out and help Matt Hardy. I guess Matt Hardy had deleted everybody in the back. That's why nobody showed up. So, security officers are there, and all of this is actually intensifying here. I'm sorry. Randy Orton bashes Matt Hardy across the head with a steel chair as his face and head lay on these steel steps. So that was pretty much that. And he did it twice. I love Randy Orton in this version of Randy Orton that we're seeing. Randy Orton and his conflicted, his confused, his demonic, his maniacal, his ruthless attitude is some of the best character work in WWE history. It is one of my favorite characters in all of WWE history, this version of Randy Orton. Even when he was younger, I just loved it. The Legend Killer. I love the moniker of the Legend Killer. I love the version of Randy Orton that we're seeing now. It brings me back to the days not too long ago where he did this to Jeff Hardy and they had that classic Hell in a Cell match. And Randy Orton had put the screwdriver in Jeff Hardy's ear. He had just brutalized Jeff Hardy on SmackDown when SmackDown was actually watchable. And it just comes full circle with Randy Orton and the Hardy Boys, you know? And it leaves a door open for Matt to leave, obviously. And if WWE wants to have a shakeup or a draft of some sorts and they want Jeff Hardy on Monday Night Raw, story's ready and waiting for them right there. They could do the Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy situation and Jeff Hardy getting retaliation on Randy Orton for what he did to Matt on his way out. You know, I don't know if WWE is going to bring that to TV if Matt is in AEW. I don't know if they're going to mention Matt Hardy on WWE TV if Matt Hardy is the exalted one in All Elite Wrestling, but the story is there if they want to visit it. You know, so we'll see what happens there. Matt Hardy could have easily been written off TV last week. I don't know why they didn't do it, but WWE is petty. And I mentioned this last week. People were arguing with me, I disagree with you about it being an embarrassment. Who knows? Matt Hardy could have asked for this. Okay. Hey, Matt Hardy didn't ask for anything. All he did was ask WWE to leave him alone because he's not re-signing a contract. That's the only thing Matt Hardy asked for. Okay? This could have been avoided. The only reason why WWE had Matt Hardy here on this show was because Matt Hardy and Randy Orton last week were the highest rated segment on the show. They drew the highest rating in the 3 hours of Monday Night Raw last week. So Vince sees this and says, maybe we'll do the same thing again. And that obviously was a reason for him being here, but it wasn't the sole reason. Matt Hardy, I'm sure, has already told WWE that he is not signing with the company. He's going elsewhere. He's taking his services and his career and his creativity elsewhere. WWE, in typical fashion, they opted to bring Matt Hardy to television to maybe pop a rating with him and Orton. But the most important thing that they wanted to do was get across to Matt Hardy and to AEW, here is your exalted one. This is your exalted one. Do with him as you wish. He is now broken goods. And it's going to end up backfiring on WWE. I don't really give a shit what they did to Matt Hardy tonight. He's going to end up being broken anyway. He's going to take what he did here and he's going to use it on AEW television. So you really can't play up the fact that Matt Hardy was embarrassed by WWE, even though we all know he was. He's going to take what he did here. He's going to take what he had with Randy Orton in this segment and use it for AEW whenever he goes over there. So who is really winning out here? Who is besting who in this situation? WWE could act all petty and all, oh, look, here's the exalted one. Here you go. They could act as childish as they want. This could have ended last week. WWE opted not to end it last week. They wanted to embarrass Matt Hardy here on his way out. That's all this was. This was not really needed. We've seen this once before. Okay? Matt Hardy has been taken out twice now by Randy Orton. He took out Edge. I'm pretty sure WWE could dig up another friend of Edge here and have Randy Orton do the same thing. We didn't need to see the same thing happen to Matt Hardy that we seen last week. Last week was enough. this week was an obvious statement. That's all that was. I'm not saying the segment wasn't great. I loved it. I thought it was great. I love seeing this version of Randy Orton. Randy Orton should never be a babyface ever again. But if you try to argue with me and disagree with me on my take on this, I don't know what you're looking at. Look at what they do to everybody else who's on the way out. Look at what they're doing to the Revival. Look at what they did to Dean Ambrose. This is what they do. They embarrass people on the way out. And it's probably going to be 10 times worse for the Revival. Look at what they did to Luke Harper. They kept him off TV. They actually fired him without actually firing him. All because he couldn't cut a Southern accent. Look at what these people do. What did Matt Hardy do? All he said he wanted was creativity. He wanted a shot at being more. He wanted to know if he was going to be used for the last couple of years of his career. WWE simply wants him to stay because they don't want him to go. So what happened? Matt Hardy wants to go, and WWE's going to embarrass him. And that's exactly what this segment was. Played into the storyline by convenience, by coincidence, right? But at the same time, they use this to, again, get the point across. Here is your exalted one, Cody. Go ahead. He's now broken goods. He's a nobody to us. Take him. He's expendable. Take him. That's all it was. It's all it was. Erick Rowan versus Aleister Black. This was a decent match to start Raw, but after all the solemnness and the silence that we seen from the crowd and all the shocked faces in the crowd, and then the first music you hear of the night after Matt Hardy's being stretchered away is Erick Rowan. Not really all that exciting there, Vince, or Paul. Not really all that exciting. Now, I do have a suggestion. For anybody watching me, I had no problem with this match. The match was fine the way it was. The right guy won. But if you have a guy like Aleister Black that you're building up, and you're building him up with this character of he's looking for a fight, and Erick Rowan has been undefeated on Raw, battling jobbers, but undefeated nonetheless, and he's carrying around this burlap sack, right? And nobody knows what's in it. Which, by the way, my buddy Jesse brought up an amazing point. The only one who took a peek into the cage on the roster was Mojo Rawley. Remember when Mojo Rawley asked what was in the cage and Erick Rowan let him see what was in the cage, and then Mojo ran away screaming like a little bitch? Right, remember that? Now, you might not remember that, but we do. We do. He brought up an excellent point. If somebody was interested in what was in the cage, why didn't they go ask Mojo Rawley? Logic gap galore on Monday Night Raw. I am not surprised. You got two big guys here. Why isn't this match being advertised in advance? Why is this something that you just throw on the show for the sake of just throwing on the show, making it seem unimportant? If a match like this between a guy you're building up in Black and a guy who's undefeated, who's got this fucking cage and nobody knows who's in it, shouldn't you build that up? Seriously? I don't understand the logic there. You make everything so unimportant. You make it as if we should care, but then you do nothing to show us that you care or why we should care. I don't understand it. So Erick Rowan and Aleister Black, this one went 7 minutes. Rowan caught Black with a boot to the face, power bomb, 2 count. Then we see a Black mass land. Rowan doesn't go down. He is seated on the mat. He gets back up, and then he gets another Black mass, and that was the one that knocked him out. Obviously, Aleister Black was the right person to win here, no matter what Rowan is doing with the cage or how many wins he's accumulated. Black is the one that you're building up. And these are the types of guys that Black should be getting wins over on his way up. The more he wins, the more people are going to be invested in him. Seems like they're doing the right thing with Aleister Black. Finally, I'm never going to excuse them keeping this guy away for 10 months, but they're finally using him the right way. Finally. Where he goes from here, I'm excited because he's too good not to be where I know he should be. So Black wins with the black mass, and that was it. Charlotte, oh joy, I hear remote controls being picked up across the globe, worldwide, when Charlotte's music hits. She gets fireworks. She stands there as if she is the top dog in this company. Sorry, honey. Sorry, honey, you're not. You're not. And I know why you are in WrestleMania for the NXT Championship. It's not because of, oh my goodness, they need to do something different with Charlotte. Not Becky, not Bayley, but we're going to do Ripley. Sure. Just keep thinking it's because we've seen those other matches over and over and over again. Keep thinking that, oh, we wanted to see something different on WrestleMania's card. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. Charlotte made her way to the ring, androiding herself down to the ring. So we seen a clip of TakeOver Portland last night, and this one clip was Charlotte attacking Ripley after her match with Bianca Belair. Great show. If you guys missed my TakeOver Portland review, it is down in the description below. Go and check it out. Great show last night. Probably, if it's not the best, it's definitely in the top 3. Bell to bell, 6 matches, match card. One of the best takeovers in that ring. That what happened in the ring last night was one of the best takeovers ever. I love that show last night. And a lot of people were very indifferent about some of the things that happened on this show. Bianca losing to Rhea Ripley was definitely one of them. Bianca should have won. I would have been very happy if Bianca won. I just think that's the better match. Ripley, I said it last night, we'll go over it again here tonight. I'm not feeling it. I have no problem with Rhea. I have a problem with WWE booking Rhea in the way that they're booking Rhea. I just don't like it. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right for some reason. I know why they're doing it, and you're jeopardizing something that had a natural feeling, an organic feeling to it. And now you're jeopardizing that again for AEW. I can't stand it. Charlotte said she went to NXT. She went to NXT because she wanted to see who is filling Ripley's head with the notion that she could challenge the Queen. She said she got there and started to reminisce about her training at NXT. She said she thought about challenges and growing pains and my class that built the foundation of what is now the third brand called NXT. She said what's bothering her is the sense of entitlement from the current class. Oh, man. She said what's bothering her is the sense of entitlement from the current class who didn't scratch and claw and fall down as many times as she did to earn the respect NXT has now. Man, that's hilarious. That might be funnier than Ricochet saying he deserves a championship match against Brock Lesnar, that he earned a championship match against Brock Lesnar. Bro, where do I even begin with this? First of all, whoever's writing these promos for Charlotte, oh my God, man, that is absolutely fucking awful. Number one. How could you, and listen, I know the audience is the majority in this situation, but can you imagine me watching this shit, knowing what I know, hearing this woman talk about entitlement? Who the fuck is Charlotte Flair to talk about the entitlement of any other female in the WWE? This is a woman who has complained about the way she's been booked on WWE TV in the last 6 to 12 months. Meanwhile, she has 10 title reigns, fucking championships left and right. She has how many first-time evers in this company? She was the one fucking bestowed Oscar's streak of 900 plus days, and she won the Royal Rumble. Yet the other women are entitled, and she's not. You know, Charlotte Flair did not want to be eliminated by Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler was supposed to win the Royal Rumble. And now WWE is looking back at what they did. I'm looking back at what they did. And WWE has now made the Elimination Chamber so predictable that there isn't even a reason for the Elimination Chamber on Monday Night Raw. If Shayna won the Royal Rumble, the Elimination Chamber would have not been that predictable. It wouldn't have. You could have saved it for SmackDown. You could have saved it to challenge Bayley at WrestleMania. Use it to find a woman to challenge Bayley at WrestleMania. Yet, we got this fucking Elimination Chamber now consisting of Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane, the Riot Squad, and Natayla. Please, tell me that I'm not fucking crazy. How are you looking at Charlotte winning the Royal Rumble now, looking at that Elimination Chamber? Predictable is not always bad. This predictable is fucking terrible. I don't know who on this fucking planet who watches this fucking garbage is going to choose anybody but Shayna Baszler. This is what happens because Charlotte didn't want to get eliminated by Shayna Baszler in the Royal Rumble. Who the fuck are you to talk about entitlement when you didn't want to get eliminated by Shayna Baszler? WWE gave Charlotte the Royal Rumble for a multitude of reasons. One is obviously the AEW effect. Two, they didn't want her to be more unhappy than she was. Three, obviously, a Flair has to win a Royal Rumble. Rick did it in 92, and now Charlotte did it in 2020. Another first time on her fucking resume that looks completely forced. It is manufactured. When I look back at Charlotte's resume, it is completely manufactured. Nothing stands out about Charlotte Flair. I'm sorry. The only thing that stands out is the way that she is protected and forced upon everybody because of her plastic surgery and because she's a Flair. I'm not saying she didn't work hard to get where she is, but she is where she is because of what she looks like and because she's a Flair. I've said this countless times. You look at Charlotte Flair, I mean this with every fucking fiber of my soul. If you look at Charlotte Flair, the way she was in NXT, and you take that NXT version of Charlotte Flair and put her on Monday Night Raw, would she be a 10-time women's champion? The answer is no. The answer is no. Entitlement. It's funny. It's really funny. Charlotte and Rhea Ripley is happening at WrestleMania because WWE thinks that this is going to one-up them for the Wednesday Night Wars against AEW. Is it because it's a first-time ever match? Yeah, it's a first-time ever. Another first-time ever match for Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. It's the first time the NXT Women's Championship is defended at WrestleMania. Are they doing it for Rhea Ripley, or are they doing it to add another fucking asterisk on Charlotte's resume? The rumor goes that Vince McMahon is lobbying for this match and not Triple H. This was a Vince McMahon idea, says Triple H. I don't know whether I believe that or not. Whether I should accept it or just laugh at the fucking fact that he actually said that on a conference call. Does Vince even know what NXT is? Does he know how to spell NXT? Does he know who Rhea Ripley is? Probably not. Probably not. You mean to tell me Vince McMahon, who kills talents left and right, knows who the fuck Rhea Ripley is? I don't think so. He's doing this for one reason and one reason only. Because he wants to get the one-up on AEW. He wants to enhance Charlotte Flair more and more and more. But I'm here to tell you that no matter what they do with this match, no matter what they do with it at WrestleMania, it's not going to make a difference. Charlotte Flair is not a draw. Charlotte Flair is not a draw. I got a better chance of drawing a fucking world-acclaimed portrait of a fucking robot with Charlotte's fucking face and have it go into the fucking Guggenheim than her drawing a fucking rating on this show. She makes me fucking sick. As a wrestling fan, it makes me ill. Ripley has the audacity to step into my ring on my show and hold up the title that I put on the map. Honey, You put the title on the map? Are you forgetting about Paige? You put the title on the map. I don't know, but I don't think of Charlotte Flair when I think of the NXT title. I think of Paige. I think of Bayley. I think of Sasha and their match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 1. No, but I am supposed to believe Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair made that title. This promo was nothing more than, oh, look at me. I'm Charlotte Flair. That's all it was. Sick. Absolutely sickening. I'm going to humble you at WrestleMania. Everyone is the next big thing until they are not. Charlotte, maybe you should practice what you fucking preach. Everyone is the next big thing until you're not, honey. You are not anymore. Riddick Moss versus Mojo Rawley versus R-Truth, a complete waste of my time. Riddick Moss's career is dead. I don't give a shit what analyst or fucking elitist wants to tell me he's getting TV time. Nobody gives a fuck who he is. Nobody gives a shit about the 24/7 title. And he's mixing it up with Mojo Rawley. Seriously. Seriously. Refrigerator doors worldwide were opening during this match. Moss wins in 1 minute to retain the 24/7. 7-11. Waste of my fucking time. Why is this title still on Raw? Title. Awful. Phillips hyped the Elimination Chamber featuring Natalya, Shayna, Asuka, Sarah Logan, Liv Morgan, and Ruby Riott. Oh, I could go on and on with this shit, man. See, this is the product of Charlotte winning the Royal Rumble. You see? You see? Yet I'm the one being negative. I guess everybody just wants to be fucking complacent and live in their mediocre fucking bubbles. I'm here for better. I don't want shit that doesn't make sense. Please, let me read through these names. Ruby Riott. What has she done to earn a shot to get into the chamber to fight for a title at WrestleMania? The woman was out for 10 months. Has she even had a match on this show? Liv Morgan. Who did she beat? But she beat Lana. Yeah, great. Awesome. I could get in the ring and fucking beat Lana. I don't even know how to fucking run the ropes. Doesn't make a difference. Sarah Logan? Sarah Logan. Really? Where's my beverage? I don't have no beverage here. Sarah, really? Sarah Logan? This woman was beat up by Charlotte Flair weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row, 2 weeks in a row, whatever. And then she got eliminated by Charlotte Flair in the Royal Rumble in about 30 seconds. Yet, she deserves an opportunity to be in the Elimination Chamber to fight for a title at WrestleMania. Says who? Says who? Logic? No. Says Vince? Yes. Who else is in this thing? Asuka. Or is Kairi Sane in it? Asuka, who's in it? Kairi Sane or Asuka? I don't even know. Who cares? They're not winning. Shayna Baszler. Natalya. Awesome. It's going to come down to Shayna and Asuka. And WWE is going to rely on them. But WWE is going into this with the most predictable Elimination Chamber match ever. This is what you get when Charlotte wins the Royal Rumble. Shayna could have won the Royal Rumble, challenged Becky Lynch, and made the story about her out for revenge against what she did to Ronda Rousey. But no, we gotta push Charlotte Flair's political agenda, and we gotta get Charlotte on NXT, and we gotta get the ratings increased on Wednesdays, and Charlotte's gonna be the one to do it. Women's wrestling isn't as big as you think it is, Vince. Nobody's watching NXT for fucking Charlotte Flair. Give me a break. Like Bianca Belair said, you don't even go here, bitch. The fuck off my show. What do you guys think when you look at Drew McIntyre? Number one contender for the WWE Championship, winner of the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble, the one who's going to slay the beast at WrestleMania. When I look at Drew McIntyre, I look at somebody who I think is the perfect pro wrestler. The makeup of a perfect pro wrestler is Drew McIntyre. I also wonder how he takes care of that majestic beard. That majestic beard that Drew McIntyre has. I wonder if he uses Harry's. I really do. What if there was a 50% off sale happening every time you guys went shopping for your razor blades? Shaving with Harry's is kind of like that. They offer premium blade refills as low as $2 each. That's up to 55% off compared to the price of the Gillette Fusion Pro Shield. Now, I've been using Harry's. I haven't used Harry's this week. I really need to get on that. I look like a bum right now. I got to shave, but I've been lazy. But I've been using Harry's for 2 years. I love the smooth glide of the blade. I love how comfortable the razor feels on my skin. I love their shave gel with aloe. It smells fantastic. And the most important thing, guys, I never cut myself using a Harry's blade. Harry's wants you guys to listen to this offer. Every new customer right here on Off the Script gets $5 off a Harry's trial set when you use our link, harrys.com/script. Harry's believes everybody deserves quality shaving supplies at a fair price. I wish Vince McMahon realized that the fans deserve a quality product on Friday Night SmackDown. They don't inflate blade prices or add unnecessary features to their razors like flex balls or heated handles. None of these tactics that the other leading brands use to raise prices for decades. Similar to the tactic that WWE uses by bringing main roster stars to Full Sail University, NXT on Wednesday night. They try to inflate the ratings against AEW. That's the type of tactic that I'm talking about. How do they do it? Harry's teams combines simple ergonomic design with 5 sharp blades. They source their own steel from Sweden and manufacture their blades in their world-class factory in Germany. They also cut out the middleman and they ship directly to you, saving you time and, most importantly, money. And now you guys can feel good about your purchase. 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, you let them know and they will give you a full refund. And 1% of the proceeds are set aside for non-profit organizations devoted to helping provide access to better healthcare for men and veterans. Harry's has an amazing offer for everybody listening to the Monday Night Raw review right here on Off the Script. New customers get $5 off a trial set by using our link, harrys.com/script. You guys will get a 5-blade razor, a weighted handle, foaming shave gel with aloe, and a travel cover as well. Join the millions of people who have already been saving money and go to harrys.com/script to claim your offer today. And I want to thank them for supporting and sponsoring Off the Script. Drew McIntyre's in the ring. And he said he could see everyone is fired up tonight. Oh, we are, bro. We are. He said there's only 48 days until WrestleMania. He said Charlotte already pointed at the sign, so he wants to make it bigger. He asked the fans if they want to get on TV by pointing at the sign with them. He did the 3, 2, 1. Let's point to the fucking sign. Drew said at WrestleMania they're going to demolish Suplex City. He said leaving WrestleMania, he will walk in and walk out as WWE Champion. Paul Heyman came out. He walked onto the stage. He did his self-introduction as always. And he introduced Brock Lesnar, who was not there, obviously. I think this is the first show that Brock Lesnar had missed for the year on Raw. Imagine that. For all the shit that Brock Lesnar gets, this is the first Raw show he has missed all year. Kudos to the Beast. Drew stood in the ring. Lesnar didn't come out, clearly. Then Heyman smiled and asked Drew if he really thought Lesnar was there tonight. He just wanted him to really know what it would sound like after he says the word "and still" at WrestleMania. After Lesnar beats Ricochet at Super Showdown, and after what should be seconds, and after Lesnar beats Drew at WrestleMania. He pointed at the sign too. So Heyman's pointing at the sign as well. I'm going to get a fucking WrestleMania sign in my new office, and I'm going to fucking point to it every time I got something great I got to tell you guys. Drew told Heyman he can say Lesnar's name over and over and over again between now and WrestleMania. He could say his name when he's crying after he kicks his head off at WrestleMania to win the championship while they're getting manicures and pedicures, whatever the fuck he was talking about. Heyman says he has profound respect for Drew, but he didn't come here to debate him. He said he is a huge admirer of his talents. He said he and his opponent this evening have a legitimate grievance with him. Mr. Heyman, I have a legitimate grievance with the way this show was booked tonight. Is anybody going to fucking take up my grievances? No. Of course not. He will settle it in the ring with him right now. MVP. MVP. I got up and I made myself a second cup of coffee. MVP. Why is MVP on this show, folks? The guy is absolutely the antithesis of unimportant. This guy wanted to be in the Rumble, they gave it to him. He wanted to be in the ring with Rey Mysterio because his son never seen him wrestle, and his favorite wrestler is Rey Mysterio. They let him have that match. Now, we are seeing MVP in the ring again against Drew McIntyre. Why? How does this make Drew McIntyre look good going into WrestleMania? By claymoring an unimportant MVP? Drew McIntyre was better off staying home on this night. If Lesnar is not there, then McIntyre does not have to be there every single week. If you want McIntyre to look strong going into his WrestleMania match, having matches with MVP is not the way to go about it. I'm just saying. Seriously. You got to do better about booking Drew McIntyre. The way that they're going now, I feel like WWE doesn't want me to care about Drew McIntyre. This was a waste of fucking time, just like the VIP suite or the fucking VIP lounge, whatever the fuck it's called last week. Just like that, a complete waste of time. Oh, Becky. Oh. Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch stood in the ring, went for the cheap pop, yelled out Washington, Everett, Washington. She said she's been feeling a lot of things over the last week. So have I, Becky. So have I. Sadness, depression, just downright tiredness. I got this downtrodden feeling, this cloud of sadness hanging above me every time I watch SmackDown on Friday night. Same thing happens when you're in the ring cutting a promo. I just feel sad. So I know how you feel, honey. I know how you feel. She said she came to the United States to seek fame and fortune. She said she learned she has no use for fame. Neither do I, but I still get treated like I'm some big deal in the community. And then people come for my head and, you're negative. People take what I say as gospel. They don't listen to me. She didn't know what fortune could do for her. So she pulled out a bag. And in this brown paper bag was not her lunch from Titus Catering. Oh, no. Titus didn't make her a homemade peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a side of lace. No. This was Becky pulling out money, and she threw the money around the ring, and she was explaining that this was the down payments for the fine that she will gladly pay because she wants to bring violence down upon Shayna Baszler. Folks, in the bag, there were $100 bills, which is, I guess, rudimentary in this situation. You pay with $100 bills. You pay with a large denomination when you are about to pay a fine, right? You go to Best Buy, you buy a $4,000 TV, you want to pay in cash, you're going to pay in $100 bills. Right? You're not going to pay in ones. In this bag was $100 bills and several $1 bills. I guess logic went right out the window before WWE handed this fucking bag over to Becky Lynch. You're going to pay for a hefty fine for violence on Shayna Baszler in $1 bills? Seriously, Becky, are you paying for a shot of espresso at the 392 Cafe, or are you willing to pay a fine? Oh, I'm sorry. You get that coffee for free over in Rollins Cafe. Seriously. This looked ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You could pay me the fucking money that was in the fucking bag, and I'd write a better show for you. How about that one? Down payment on violence. Bad things are going to happen when I find her, she says. To who? Bad things are going to happen to Shayna? Oh my God. It's like comedy hour. It's like comedy hour on this show, man. Oh my goodness. Bad things are going to happen when I find her. Because only animals go to the neck, which is to weaken their prey before they end them. Man, these are good peanuts, bro. Dry roasted, heart healthy. She told Shayna to take a long look at the prettiest face of the longest reigning Raw champion in history. Oh, here we go with the accolades that mean nothing. Who? Lacey Evans? Who'd you beat? Lacey Evans? Sasha Banks was the only notable name you beat. Asuka, maybe, but Asuka was fucking buried and destroyed at that point, and they just did it because they had nobody else. Who else did you beat? Who else is on this long list? Ronda Rousey? That's so last year, honey. That's so last year. And Shayna is here. Ronda is here. Letting you know right now. So Baszler appeared on the big screen. She said that she came from an MMA world, so fighting inside the Elimination Chamber is a perfect situation for her. She says she's a cage fighter, and she's going into the Elimination Chamber. Her background was in the cage. I wonder where that situation came from. I wonder who brought that to the creative table well before the Royal Rumble when I said, you know, Sasha Banks should win the Royal Rumble and go on to challenge Bayley, and Shayna could win the Elimination Chamber, and that would be a better environment for her to do so because she is a cage fighter. Her history is in the cage, and the Elimination Chamber is a cage. I wonder who said that. Who was it? Who was it? Was it me? Of course it was. Of course it was, clown. Who did you think you heard it from? Huh? Some motherfucking wrestle geek? Yeah, right. So, she says, but imagine the things I do have planned, says Baszler. Becky says, I'm going to tear, or she tells Becky, because Becky is not this brutal or direct. Becky, I'm going to tear the living shit out of you. Becky smiled and said she'll be watching closely and rooting for her. And she dropped the microphone. Folks, Becky Lynch does not sound intimidating whatsoever. She doesn't look intimidating. She doesn't sound intimidating. The more I see Becky Lynch, and this is not a direct hate on Becky Lynch. I actually like Becky Lynch. The writing staff on this team sucks. If they just let Becky Lynch go out there and be Becky Lynch and fucking speak in a normal humanized tone and speak the way that she should speak for this segment, or in situations like this, instead of acting all cheesy and throwing money around and trying to act so badly like Conor McGregor, it wouldn't be half as bad. But Becky Lynch, her moment of glory was that Nia Jax punch to the face and her standing in the crowd with the blood dripping down her face wearing that SmackDown shirt. That was it. That was her moment of glory. And whatever WWE tried to do as far as storytelling with her and Ronda and Charlotte going to WrestleMania, after that, Becky has never looked the same. And that's partially to WWE's fault. That is WWE's fault. Becky is not going to escape this thing, innocent. She has the character that she is still not portraying to me, where I believe she stands a chance at all against Shayna Baszler. I said it tonight. She needed to come out and be fierce. She needed to come out and be brutal. She needed to come out and be direct and be looking for fucking blood. And she did not. She made a joke out of it. She's throwing money around. Here's my money down for the fine because I'm going to kill Shayna Baszler. And I don't believe anything this woman says. Meanwhile, Shayna Baszler's on the screen. I look at Shayna, I believe. I hear Shayna speak, I believe. The only thing that this segment, and it wasn't even a bad segment, but the way Becky Lynch is being portrayed on TV, it's terrible. It wasn't even a bad segment, but what this segment did, all this segment did, was tell me, I can't wait to see Shayna Baszler beat the shit out of Becky Lynch. I can't wait for Becky Lynch to lose this championship, and it can't happen soon enough. It's just terrible the way they're portraying her. She does not look believable at all. If this match isn't a fucking bloodbath, WWE has missed the boat. Charlie Caruso interviewed Lana, Lashley, Vega, and Garza. Charlie asked where the idea came from for them teaming together. Lana said it was an idea from Valentine's Day because what would be better than members of the two hottest couples teaming up against their respected enemies? Okay. I don't know whose idea this was, but it sounds awful already. It's like a Monday night double date, she said. She called it brilliant. Brilliant. The word brilliant and Monday Night Raw do not compute. I'm sorry. It's like Charlotte and her regurgitating her android vocabulary. Brilliant does not compute. Does not compute. Brilliant. It doesn't compute here, folks. Zelina didn't seem to be on board. She said that she and Garza are the two hottest people in the WWE because they are not a couple. She's married to Aleister Black, and Garza, I'm sure, is married to a lovely lady. He just got engaged, by the way. They're strictly business. Garza told her to calm down because everyone knows how beautiful she is, what she is. He said he is there for business acumen. He said, I was going to say Carlito. That's all we need. Carlito, coming by, eating an apple, calling everybody not cool because this segment is not cool. He said, Carrillo, Humberto is close to finding out that no man can measure up to him. And I laughed. Lana rubbed Lashley's chest, and we were off to the running. Did I care about this match? No, it went 11 minutes. It went 11 minutes too long. Vega and Garza, they were celebrating because they won, and he cheated. He rolled up Rusev, and he hooked the tights. Lashley had a devastating spear on, I believe it was Humberto. That looked pretty fucking brutal there, but that was the only highlight of this match. Garza rolls up Rusev after a top rope headbutt. Machka kick hit Lashley. Garza rolled up Rusev and yanked the tights for the 3 count. Awesome. Who gives a shit? Garza won. At least Garza did not suffer a loss. I was waiting for it to happen. Good thing it did not happen here. Man, I don't know about you guys, but every time Natalya's music hits the PA system, I desperately try and find literally anything else to do. I just do not find her to be interesting whatsoever. So I did some online shopping, and I used Honey. Now, speaking of Natalya, doesn't she have like 37 cats? I know she's got to do some shopping for her 37 cats, whether it's all natural organic food, maybe it's some cat toys, maybe it's a cat hammock, maybe it's a nice fluffy cat bed. Who knows? I wonder if she uses Honey. Did you guys know that Honey is the free online shopping tool that automatically finds you the best promo codes and applies them to your cart? And you know how great it feels to save? I know how great it feels to save. It's like watching NXT on Wednesday night with a smile on your face, knowing it's not Friday Night SmackDown. Now, I actually used Honey tonight, and I bought myself, I've been buying Legos. I have just kind of reacquainted myself with my childhood love of Legos. And I bought myself a new Lego. I can't wait for it to arrive. I can't wait to sit down with a cold beverage and start building my new Lego. How much did I save? I saved a few dollars, and that's what Honey does. That's what Honey does. Honey has found over 18 million members, over $2 billion in savings. Did you know Honey supports over 30,000 online stores, including Macy's, Target, Sephora, Best Buy, and more, and them adding more stores every single day. Users love Honey, and that's why it has over 100,000 5-star reviews on the Google Chrome store. Using Honey feels pretty great. I know, I've used it, and I feel fantastic. Think of it as a little daily victory. Plus, it's free to use, and it installs right on your browser in seconds. Get Honey for free today at joinhoney.com/offthescript. Guys, save some money. Feel good about doing so. Use our link, joinhoney.com. And I want to thank them for sponsoring today's podcast right here on Off the Script. Natalya versus Kairi Sane. It's won 4 minutes. Natalya and her music hit, and everybody gets up from their couch and goes to look into the refrigerator to see what they have brewing in the refrigerator. You want a glass of soda, you want some seltzer, you want some chips in the cabinet, some popcorn maybe. I don't know. Whatever your heart desires, I'm sure it was more entertaining looking for that than watching Natalya in the ring. Kairi Sane wins in 4 minutes because Kairi Sane won by countout. Asuka knocked Natalya out with a kick on the floor. Asuka was laughing while Kairi was waiting, and we led this to a countout. Great. Who gives a shit? We seen Natalya and Asuka last week, so why not? Let's see Natalya and Kairi this week. There is a tag team champion in the WWE as far as the women go. Are those belts going to be defended? You might as well just throw them into the fucking East River at this point. They are worthless. Worthless. Oh, man, we got Seth Rollins and his ministry of failure here. Seth Rollins and his ministry of failure. Sermon of failure, whatever the fuck you want to call it. This guy is delusional. And whoever thinks this guy is entertaining is fucking delusional as well. Seth thanked Murphy for the introduction, for the fans, for making him the man he is today. He went on and on for a while about fans setting their minds to things in order to achieve them. Yes, I set my mind to watching 2 hours of SmackDown on Friday, and at the end of it, I am just vastly disappointed in myself. He said, now the work begins because he does not take the responsibility of being their Monday Night Messiah lightly. He said, phase 2 of the movement will not be easy. Fans are chanting, you suck at Rollins, which they were not completely incorrect on this night. He said, it is time for them to seek out the weak and the non-compliance. We must find the flaws in the system and rehabilitate them if we can, he said. We must find the flaws in the system. He also says that they need to seek out the weak. Bro, listen. Listen, it's not that difficult to seek out the weak, folks. Friday night on SmackDown is where you will seek out the weak. We must find the flaws in the system. Bruce Pritchard is your flaw in the system. There you go, Rollins. I just gave you fucking phase 2. Fucking phase 2. What's phase 2 on Raw? The only thing 2 I wish came out of this show was 2 hours. 3 hours is way too long. And eradicate them if we... Oh, man, I wish SmackDown was eradicated off the face of the earth, believe me. He said, this isn't a promise or a threat or a warning. This comes from my heart. Yes, and Rollins, it comes from my heart when I say that you are trying to be CM Punk, and CM Punk did this character better. Came from my heart, bro. From me to you. He said, this is gospel. Everything I say here every week, folks, is gospel. Follow me, my sons. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. Get on board. OTS. The OTS ministry. Okay. Back to your regularly scheduled program here. If there are any WWE superstars who remain non-compliant, they will suffer the same fate as the weak. Fans are booing. So if you stand in the way of progress and in the path of the future, at which point he was interrupted by the Viking Raiders. They charged to the ring and attacked the Ministry of Failure, and that was it. KO jumped Seth on the stage because he ran away. He sacrificed Murphy to this carnage, and then Rollins was stunned on the stage by KO. Backstage, Caruso approached Seth Rollins and company, said that his sermon didn't seem to go as planned. Nothing Seth Rollins seems to go as planned. Only when he's behind the bar barista-ing and when he's got to make his foam for Becky on top of her cappuccino. That's the only time it goes for plan for Becky, for Seth Rollins. Or it goes to plan for Rollins. That was pretty much that. So we got a 6-man tag at the end of the night. Oh, joy. Oh, joy. I couldn't wait to not watch. AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows walked out. Styles said he's back on Raw. Great. What would WrestleMania season be without him? Same as it always is. Shit. Gallows says he is phenomenal in the ring during WrestleMania season. They all pointed at the sign. Anderson said Styles is the new Mr. WrestleMania. Styles said that's one of the sweetest things that he's ever said. Styles says he can honestly say he is the greatest superstar on any roster. Gallows and Anderson then agreed. Of course they would. He said he is the greatest superstar of any era. He said he has critics. Who would be critical of AJ Styles? I wonder. He has his critics, which some might find hard to believe. He said when he wins the gauntlet match at Super Showdown, no one can say anything except for him. So he has his critics, but he wants to put down his critics by winning the gauntlet match at Super Showdown. Do you know how fucking ridiculous that sounds? That AJ Styles is hanging his hat on how critical people think of him because he's got to win this fucking gauntlet match at Super Showdown. You fucking serious? Who's next, he said. I wonder, is it Goldberg? He said he doesn't care as long as the WWE Champion is available. He said it could be Brock Lesnar, it could be Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Ricochet, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Diesel, Sting. Then they made fun of Sting's little thing here. They called it a soul patch or a flavor patch. Gallows called it a flavor saver. Styles says he doesn't care if it's the whole NWO. He also mentioned Hulk Hogan in this breath. And please, you're giving me nightmares already. He said when he proves his dominance at Super Showdown, blah, 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 out comes Ricochet. Ricochet said whether like it or not, or whether they like it or not, he's earned his title match. Oh, man. It gets funnier and funnier every time I see it. He said at Super Showdown he plans to beat Lesnar and become the WWE Champion. Sure, bro. I'm going to ex Toni Storm on a date, and she's going to say yes. She's going to say yes. And then she's going to come back to my apartment, and things are going to happen. Right? Yeah, just like that. Just like how you're going to become WWE Champion, right? Oh, man. Styles, Gallows, and Anderson laughed just like I'm laughing. Ricochet offered to prove how good he is against Styles right now. He dropped his mic and encouraged the crowd to cheer. Anderson said, whoa. Easy there, cowboy. He said there's no way he could allow his first match back on Raw to be against Ricochet. So he's taking one for the team. Instead of Styles and Ricochet, which we've seen fucking 6 times already, we're getting Anderson and Gallows. Or Anderson to Anderson, I think. It was Anderson, right? Anderson and Ricochet. So instead of seeing AJ Styles and Ricochet, which we've seen 6 times already, we're getting Anderson and Ricochet, which we've seen, 4? There you go. Carl Anderson, did he win? Of course not. 7 minutes. We got Ricochet going for a 630. He rolled through. And Ricochet rolled through. He hit a kick to the head on Carl Anderson, and that was pretty much it. That, I guess, like a Death Valley driver lift and then a kick to the head, a Pele kick of sorts to Anderson. 1, 2, 3, that was it. So this is WWE's way of showing everybody that he's ready for Brock Lesnar because he beat Carl Anderson on Raw. Awesome. Liv Morgan, and this is where we end because I didn't watch the show. I actually, no, we'll go over and we'll read what happened and we'll see if anything really big happened that I missed. Liv Morgan had an interview. She said Ruby Riott is taking credit for accomplishments. Morgan says she is excited, or she was as excited as anyone to see her closest friends battle back from injury. And she was just as surprised to see her appear. She said her and Riott were best friends, and Ruby walking out was a rush of great feelings, but then she tossed their friendship aside like it meant nothing. She said being betrayed by someone you wholeheartedly believed in is enough to break anyone. She said not long ago it would have broken her, but she's not the puppy on a leash Ruby described. She said she's now comfortable in her own skin and looks at the future with an eye wide open. She will eliminate Riott at the Elimination Chamber and move on to a match at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. Folks, I'm still wondering what this new gimmick is for Liv Morgan. So she prettied up her hair, she put on some makeup, and she stopped sucking the dick of Papa Smurf. Is that what the gimmick is? I'd love for somebody to fill me in on what the gimmick change is here and who Liv Morgan really is now. She threw away the Harley Quinn gear, and now she's wearing leather, and she doesn't have a blue tongue anymore. She stopped sucking on blue Jolly Ranchers. Is this the gimmick? Is this WWE's creative brilliance here? I'm still trying to figure this one out. Is she going to WrestleMania? Of course she isn't. Viking Raiders, Ivar and Eric and Kevin Owens versus the authors of Losers, or the Losers of Pain, and Murphy. This one went 14 minutes according to the Wrestling Observer website. So we got the Raiders and KO winning here. Oh joy. The Raiders dove through the ropes onto the AOP at ringside. KO ducked Murphy, gave him a stunner, made the cover. Seth jumped him and got DQ'd. There you go. Murphy and AOP held KO. As Seth said, this is what would happen to anyone who didn't listen to him. They have transcribed here, you have crucified me since day one, and now it is your time for us to crucify you, Seth said. Then the Street Profits came out, and they made the save. And apparently, they did not give a shit about making the save against Randy Orton and Matt Hardy, but they want to come out and save Kevin Owens. Awesome. Poor Matt Hardy. I guess maybe they were deleted in the first hour of the show. I don't know. They cornered Seth Rollins. The Raiders joined them. Seth ran away like a bitch. And he watched as the Profits and Raiders beat up AOP and Murphy. Ivar and Ford mounted opposite turnbuckles and then leapt onto the two heels on the mat. Seth threw a fit on the stage as the babyfaces celebrated in the ring. And that's the way Raw went off the air, with Seth Rollins throwing a hissy fit like a pussy bitch. This show sucked tonight, folks. I tried to make this podcast and this video as entertaining as possible, and I can't wait to get the hell out of here. Thank Christ this is over. This show sucks. WWE television sucks the majority of the weeks. This did nothing to get me excited for the Elimination Chamber, Super Showdown, WrestleMania. They batted 0 for 3 tonight. WWE, Raw, Heyman, Vince, Seth, the Messiah, take a seat on the bench. You fucking failed on this evening. Guys, if you want to check out any other content on the channel, go and check it out. Links will be down below in the description of this very video. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Please check out my sponsors. You got Honey and you got Harry's. Hopefully you guys enjoyed them being integrated into the show. Check them out. They help me out. I want you to help them out. Helps everybody out. And Patreon, if you guys want to support the Patreon page, you guys can certainly do that as well. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. I'll be back with something on Tuesday. Don't know what it might be. I might have a video. I might have a news video, a podcast. I might stream. Who the fuck knows? Guys, I'm getting out of here. I'm tired. I want to have the rest of my peanuts. They're heart healthy. Monday Night Raw is not heart healthy. In fact, it gives me a stroke every single week. So does SmackDown. But Planters is heart healthy for you. And they do not reduce the stress of Bruce on Friday nights. I'm getting the hell out of here. Guys, thank you so much. Hit that thumbs up. And I'll see you right back here on Wednesday, more than likely, for AEW Dynamite. See you guys then.